Hi everybody, I'm David Lee. I'm the Chairman and CEO of Hing Lee Group, President of Hing Lee Jewelers, which is my family business, selling jewelry and watches. I'm also known probably more on social media as Ferrari Collector David Lee. I have a car show, Cars and Chronos, and of course if you're in Southern California or if you travel to Southern California, you can come to the car show and see these cars live. But it's all just part of the passion of the car culture that I believe in. I very much am a fan of Ferrari and the Ferrari brand, so therefore I have collection of a lot in Ferrari because I want to be most knowledgeable about a brand and to see the evolution and the transition of how the cars are made throughout the period, throughout the time. So hopefully what I'm trying to do this channel here is to share more cars, share watches, share kind of a feeling that I get when I drive these cars and owning them that are maybe different than the other people that you see on YouTube, that I can give you a different perspective from an owner, from somebody that has a collection to be able to see the difference between the different cars that I own and drive. This is my 1964 250 Lusso competition. A lot of history with this car. It's been raced at. It's been in the crash a couple of times. It's gone through hands of important collectors as well as former racers. It's the Lusso, which is the last model of the 250 series. 250 being that the engine, is 250 horsepower. A lot of famous cars that you might have known of that was using this engine. The 250 GTO, right, the most expensive car sold. The 250 short wheelbase, the 250 California that everybody saw on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's a lot of famous cars from the 250 series, and the 60s were Ferrari's golden years, I would say. This car, very important. We're going to go into more details about that, but this is a 64. Here we have a 1967 275 GTB 4-cam. Now, 275, again, the horsepower being 275, V12 front engine. It's a whole group of models in the 275. Here I have the 4-cam, which is considered one of the best road cars in Ferrari, classic cars. So I'm glad to have own one. It's certainly for this one, it's a best of show winner and a platinum 100-point platinum car winner. And I guess as you guys follow and on this channel, you subscribe so you get notifications, and as new video comes out, I want to explain what all that means. How do you get best? What does best in show mean? How do you get it? What does platinum mean? What do the points mean? And all that kind of stuff. It's all important for the pedigree of the car, the history, and then the value. Because I'm going to teach you guys. It's not only that I like these cars and I enjoy them, which I do, but it's also value. I mean, when you're talking about spending some real money to invest in a car, it's no longer just a toy that you can just expense out and okay, but so what if I lose 50,000 or 100,000 when I sell it? It's still real money, and those money should not be just thrown away like that. The next one here, 1967 330 GTS. Again, more power now, right? 330, and of course, every model that as they move on to the engineering and the performance gets better. Okay, here is a super rare platinum 100-point car as well. 99 were made in the production and at the time. Obviously, through time now, surviving good quality, platinum quality is very rare. There's just a handful of these super good quality platinum level 330 GTS. So I have one here with that. We're going to talk more about it as you follow the channel and subscribe. Now here we have a 73 246 GTS, a Dino, a car that at the time in the 70s Ferrari wanted to compete against other car companies, so they went ahead and made a more mass production lower engine power, V6 instead of the V12s that were done in Ferraris. Rebadged the Dino, which is Enzo's son, and went ahead and launched it. It was still done in the Ferrari factory, designed by Pininfarina and everything. Really quite a beautiful car, a lot of love for it, a big cult following for this car. And you know, it's you know, and it was a great 70s car. So you know, I have that here. This one, my baby, the Dino that I modified. I call it the Monza 3.6 Evo. It's really a car that, because I believe the Dino, 70s Ferrari wasn't very strong in the cars they had, and the 60s were very strong, and 80s to the present were very strong. 70 was kind of a dark period, but they did make this Dino. They did come out with a Dino, and it was a beautiful design. Again, Pininfarina designed it, but it was just the engine could have been more powerful. So here I modified this car, put an F40 engine in there, had 400 horsepower, used Brembo brakes, Koni suspension, all the insides what you don't see, improved to Ferrari parts or Ferrari OEM parts that you would have bought in the 70s to have created a car that they could have created. And I think I created this, and it's only one of its kind. It's quite world-renowned, was praised from many car magazine and medias and experts. So I'm very proud of that I was able to create this car. So far we've seen 60s and then 70s and so forth. Let me bring you to my 80s car. Here is a 1985 288 GTO. It's what Ferrari considers the first supercar. So among the cars that I produced at the time, this car would be, the performance would be extra over the top for the time that it was produced. And it looks, for a lot of people, it looks like a 308 or 328, the Magnum PI car, but it is very special. It is very different. It's on steroids. It's got a V8 twin turbo. You know, today's cars with the 488 and the F8, you got the V8 twin turbos that are so perfected. It wasn't the first time Ferrari did that. I mean, they were already using it at this time, 1985, the V8 twin turbo. Certainly it wasn't as perfected as today, but it was very powerful and very fast. They were already doing that in the 1980s. So you can imagine how kind of futuristic the technology at the time they used to do this car. It's one of my favorite cars because in high school, when I was looking at the Road and Track magazine, this caught my eye. It was the first Ferrari that caught my eye, the one that I really wanted. Fell in love with it, fell in love with the design because it is very beautiful. Never thought I could afford it and own one. So the fact that I could own one, it's gives me an extra pleasure or a feeling of accomplishment, right? So to have that. Here we have the next one, the F40, which represents the 40-year anniversary Ferrari. It's also the last car that Enzo Ferrari himself worked on, and he was a big fan of racing. That was his whole life. He wanted racing. I mean, he sold 90% of Ferrari company to support his racing. That's how much he believed in it and loved it. But he thought production cars, road cars were, not to his standard. And so ultimately, obviously, if he could make a race car on the road, that would be the best. And so he really built with his, toward the end of his life, he pushed through and built this F40, which is really a race car for the road. It was the first car to go 200 miles per hour, road car. And performance-wise, and it broke all records. And it's still the most iconic car that Ferrari is known for. And a lot of people that are a little older, still even younger, love. So the F40 is so iconic. Glad to have that. It represents 40 years. The F50, representing the 50-year anniversary. The first time they took the whole car, the chassis, and to be carbon fiber. We had a carbon fiber, so you can see the carbon fiber weave when you look at the car, especially in the sun. They put an F1 engine, a V12 in the back for this production car, so the sound is incredible. And engineered this road car to be just really amazing. It was also a roadster, so among the supercars, being that the first was a 288 detail, the second is F40, the third is the F50, was the only one that had a open top so that you could hear the engine better and have the air go through your hair. So this is quite a great car. I love it. For the 6th-year anniversary, the Enzo. Now that so-called perfected it, everybody in the industry praised and agreed. Full carbon fiber chassis, V8, a V12, sorry, naturally aspirated engine, basically analog. It was barely any computer, no computer assist, no electric seats and windows. They give you air conditioning, thank God, no radio. But it's it broke records. All the performance broke. The F1 transmission paddle shift, when Michael Schumacher was in F1, took that technology, brought it into this car. So it was just revolutionary and groundbreaking for the time. And so this car is amazing. And the fourth for the supercar. And so on the timing on the F40 was 1990, F50 was 1995, 2003 the Enzo, and we got 2015 the LaFerrari, Ferrari LaFerrari. This car, as a contrast, is so different than the Enzo. It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid car. Hybrid. It's got the V12 engine that produces 800 horsepower. It's got the Hiker electric boost engine that adds another 150 horsepower. So together it's 950 horsepower. It's got computer assist that makes anybody a better driver. It's got all the bells and whistles and the technology in it that really makes this car comfortable and luxurious. Everyday use, but yet on the track it's a monster. I love this car. So this is the 5th, and representing the 7-year anniversary. So a lot of people, of course, are known for the Big Five, the supercars of the ultra limited edition cars of Ferrari, and I'm glad I'm the handful of people that have that together, the collection of all 5 together, But again, the main thing is that, again, as I showed you briefly from 60s to the present, I have all the important cars, the respected, iconic ones that Ferrari had made. And by owning them and driving them, sometimes on the track, but certainly on the road, it gives me a perspective that a lot of other maybe car collectors would not have. So hopefully I can share that with you, and this is what this channel is about. So again, remind you, please subscribe, click the subscribe and like, and so that you'll get notified for future videos that's going to start ramping up and coming to YouTube. So until then, we'll see you later. A lot of you guys know me as Ferrari Collector David Lee, but my daytime job is the president and CEO of Hing Jewelers, which we're authorized dealer for a lot of watch brands that you guys all like, and we sell jewelry as well. But let's go ahead and check out what we have in our store. Here we have Rolex. Here we have Cartier, Piaget, which is a very great diamond brand. Panerai, known for its involvement with Italian Navy. It's quite a popular brand, quite a cult following. And a lot of people love it, the simple and just full military style. So we're glad to be there, authorized dealer as well.